power isn't always taken by force. Sometimes it's whispered into existence through charm, deceit, and flawless timing. These are the most manipulative laws ever written, each one a quiet weapon disguised as wisdom. Law 1. Never outshine the master. The fastest way to be destroyed by power is to shine too brightly in front of it. The ego above you demands worship, not competition. At the height of the French court, a young noble named Nicolas Fouquet rose faster than any man before him. He was intelligent, magnetic, generous, and King Louis XIV's most trusted finance minister. To celebrate his loyalty, Fouquet threw the most extravagant party France had ever seen. Fountains danced, fireworks filled the sky, poets praised the king. But in the process, the crowd whispered a dangerous thought, that Fouquet, not Louis, was the true star of France. Within days, the Sun King turned cold. The same brilliance that lifted Fouquet now burned him alive. He was arrested, tried for embezzlement, and spent the rest of his life in a stone cell. His only crime was shining too brightly in the wrong light. Power hates rivals, even imaginary ones. To survive in a hierarchy, you must learn the art of strategic dimness. Appearing talented, but never threatening. Praise your superior's brilliance, even when it blinds you. Make them feel indispensable. Let their ego feed while your influence grows in the shadows. Ego is fragile. It sees competition as betrayal. The powerful want mirrors, not equals. By hiding your fire, you let their insecurity rest. And once their guard falls, you can move freely. The manipulator doesn't fight for attention, he redirects it, letting admiration become camouflage. Never glow so brightly that you cast a shadow on the sun. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Freedom makes people unpredictable. Control comes from dependency, and dependency is the sweetest prison ever built. In Renaissance Italy, Cesare Borgia ruled through brilliance and terror. But his power didn't come from armies alone. It came from control over men's needs. He would raise a soldier from poverty, grant him land, marry him to wealth, and in doing so, bind his soul. The man's fortune, love, and honor all existed because of Borgia. And so, when rebellion whispered, no one dared join it, for cutting ties with Caesar meant cutting one's own throat. When his father, Pope Alexander VI, died, Caesar's allies fled overnight. Their loyalty had never been real. It was dependency disguised as devotion. And yet for years, that illusion had given him absolute command. Power that depends on love will vanish. Power that others depend on will last. Make yourself the source of security, validation, income, opportunity. The more they rely on you, the less they can resist you. Dependency is the invisible chain that needs no locks. People rarely want true freedom. Freedom demands responsibility. They crave certainty, someone to follow, someone to blame. The manipulator fulfills that desire by offering stability at a cost. They become the sun others orbit, feeding them warmth while quietly draining their will. To own the world, don't dominate people, make them need you.
Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. No one helps out of kindness. They help because it serves them. The wise never beg. They bargain with vanity. During the fall of Rome, a general named Belisarius found himself abandoned by the emperor who once adored him. His army scattered, his fortune gone, he sought favor from a noble senator. But instead of pleading for mercy, Belisarius praised the man's legacy. He spoke of how history would remember the senator as the savior of the empire if he lent support to this final campaign. The senator, blinded by the sweet taste of immortality, opened his treasury. Belisarius wrote again, funded not by friendship, but by ego. The senator's coin bought him glory, and Belisarius's victory ensured it. People rarely act out of goodwill. They act out of self-image. When you need something, never highlight your need, highlight their gain. Let them feel heroic, important, central to the story. Make their ego the currency, and they'll pay without realizing it. Humans are mirrors of pride. They see every request as a reflection of their worth. The manipulator bends that reflection, disguising his goals within another's desire for validation. Flattery isn't just words, it's the illusion that they're in control. You don't ask for help, you sell the dream of their own greatness. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Loyalty is the perfect disguise for intrusion. The most dangerous enemy is the one you trust enough to whisper secrets to. In ancient China, the strategist Zhang Yi rose to prominence by mastering the art of false friendship. He would approach rival states with gifts, empathy, and shared dreams of peace. Over wine and laughter, kings confessed their fears, ambitions, and weaknesses, believing they had found a friend. But Zhang Yi reported everything back to his true master, the king of Qin, who used those confessions to crush them one by one. When one ruler finally realized the betrayal, it was already too late. His armies had been ambushed before he even finished his next toast. Information is power, and friendship is its easiest doorway. Become the listener everyone trusts, the confidant everyone needs. People reveal themselves not under threat, but under warmth. The manipulator never takes by force. He gathers, piece by piece, until the truth is his weapon. Humans equate familiarity with safety. When someone listens deeply, we feel seen, and the need to reciprocate exposes us. The manipulator mirrors emotion to lower defenses, turning intimacy into reconnaissance. The closer you stand to someone's heart, the easier it is to stab. A true spy doesn't sneak through walls. He walks through open doors disguised as a friend. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. The easiest way to control a mind is to let it think it's smarter than yours. Pride blinds faster than any lie. In the early 1900s, a con artist named Victor Lustig roamed Paris, a man so smooth he could sell air to a drowning man. One day, he set his sights on Al Capone, the most feared gangster in America. Lustig approached Capone humbly, claiming to be a small-time investor with a sure deal that needed $50,000 in backing. Capone, suspicious yet amused, handed him the cash and told him to return in 60 days. Lustig took the money, locked it untouched in a hotel safe, and disappeared for 2 months. When he returned, he bowed his head and said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Capone, the deal failed." He handed back every dollar. Capone, impressed by such rare honesty, gave him $5,000 as a gesture of goodwill. That was Lustig's true target. He had conned the devil, not with strength, but with submission. To manipulate arrogance, you must feed it. Appear naive, clumsy, harmless. Let them relax, speak freely, underestimate you. Their guard drops when they feel superior. When they reveal their cards, you already hold the deck. People crave validation of their intelligence. When you make someone feel clever, they start performing for you, explaining, revealing, teaching. The manipulator listens, storing every detail. By pretending to be the student, he becomes the silent architect of the master's downfall. In the theater of power, the fool often writes the final act.
Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. When truth feels empty, belief becomes a drug, and the one who supplies it becomes a god. In the 1970s, a man named Jim Jones began preaching a gospel of equality and love. He fed the poor, healed the sick, welcomed the broken, and in return, they worshipped him. But beneath his kindness hid obsession. He isolated his followers, demanded loyalty, and replaced faith in God with faith in himself. When he moved his people to the jungles of Guyana, over 900 souls followed him willingly into exile. And when he ordered them to drink poison in the name of devotion, they obeyed, smiling, singing hymns as they died. Their need to believe became the weapon that killed them. People hunger for meaning more than food, for belonging more than truth. The manipulator feeds that hunger with certainty, offering salvation, identity, and purpose. Once someone's belief fuses with your image, logic can no longer reach them. You owned their faith, and faith obeys without question.
Humans can't survive without stories that make suffering make sense. The manipulator becomes the storyteller, transforming chaos into divine purpose. Every cult, every movement, every blind devotion begins with the same seed, a promise to fill the void of doubt. Those who control belief never need to control the body. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Reality is cruel. That's why fantasy sells better than truth. And the best manipulators are its finest merchants. In 18th century Venice, a drifter named Giacomo Casanova lived not by wealth, but by illusion. He seduced nobles, priests, and queens, not through beauty, but through dreams. When he met a lonely countess, he whispered visions of eternal love and mystical destiny. When he met a bishop, he claimed divine insight. Each person saw in him what they secretly longed for: adventure, redemption, passion. Casanova simply became their reflection. By the time they realized the lies, they no longer cared. They made them feel alive in ways truth never could. When his illusions finally crumbled, he moved to the next believer. Fantasy was his currency, and everyone paid. People don't want reality, they want escape. Speak to what they wish were true, not what is. Promise transformation, hope, forbidden pleasure. When you give them a dream worth chasing, they'll forgive every lie you tell to keep it alive. The human mind is built for illusion. It clings to hope even when it knows it's false. The manipulator becomes the architect of comfort, offering beauty over honesty. And the more people suffer, the more seductive fantasy becomes. He who controls the dream controls the dreamer. Law 35. Master the art of timing. Power is not only what you do, it's when you do it. The right move at the wrong moment is still a mistake. In the 16th century Japan, the warlord Tokugawa Ieyasu spent decades waiting. While rivals fought and burned their armies to ash, Ieyasu built alliances, gathered intelligence, and bided his time. When Toyotomi Hideyoshi rose to dominate Japan, Ieyasu bent the knee, not out of loyalty, but calculation. He waited until Hideyoshi died, then struck with precision. At the Battle of Sekigahara, his patience paid off. One decisive strike, and Japan was his. For the next 250 years, his dynasty ruled unbroken. Ieyasu's greatest weapon was not the sword, it was restraint. Timing is invisible strategy. The manipulator acts like water, waiting for the cracks before flowing in. Impulse is weakness. Anticipation is strength. Know when to hold silence, when to speak, when to disappear. Those who master timing make fate look like obedience. Impatience is emotional leakage. It exposes desperation, but time itself is a weapon. The manipulator uses stillness to make others restless, silence to provoke confession, delay to amplify desire. Every second of restraint tightens the leash of control. Those who wait in the shadows decide when the light returns. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.